On Brady and the Bucs, 7-4. Mahomes has the better completion percentage, more pass yards per game, and a higher passer rating. And Rob and D'Angelo Hall with me now. Y'all have been going in on quarterbacks, so listen, our game of the week features two QBs going in very different directions, guys. Mahomes has Kansas City rolling. Brady and the Bucs, yeah, not so much. D-Hall, it might come down to the Bucs defense here. How do you contain this Chiefs offense?
Well, I tell you what, Coach Bowles is going to have to throw that game plan out that he was using in the first half. When you saw Jared Goff just sit back there and pick apart the Buccaneers defense, man, if I'm Patrick Mahomes, I'm sitting at home like, dude, I think Cooper Kupp is a great player, and I think Robert Woods is one of the most underrated players in the league. But they have nothing on these Kansas City playmakers down the football field and running backs out of the backfield. And so when you think about the way the Bucs were just so off balance with what the Rams were doing, man, and then you give Andy Reid the time to sit there and draw up plays and specifically script where he wants to try to attack this Bucs defense, man, because they show some weaknesses. I know to a man the Bucs defense are very athletic, but they just did not look like they came to play. And I think it's going to be much of the same when you talk about this explosive Chiefs offense and Patrick Mahomes, who's the gunslinger throwing the football.
Yeah, I think the Bucs, they need to take a page out of the Las Vegas Raiders defense. They kind of played a little cover two man, stayed real deep with the safeties, and got after Patrick Mahomes with their front four. But also they played complementary football and they ran the football. And I think if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers truly took an honest assessment of their offensive line and what they do the best at, running the football, to me, is what this offensive line does better than one-on-one pass pro, especially without their best offensive lineman and Ali Marpet in the lineup being able to pass up those inside games to be able to get to Tom Brady from the inside of the pocket. So if I'm Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich and Tom Brady, I'm thinking about handing the football off to this guy right here that you see on the screen, Ronald Jones, a little bit more. I know they're only averaging about 98 rushing yards a game, but that's because they only run the ball only 37% of the time. It's like just because they have these shiny toys on the outside in Tom Brady, they're trying to just throw the ball and force the ball down the football field when, again, the engine of their team, which is the offensive line, the engine of every team, which is the offensive line, they're built to run the football. I'm telling you, run the football, Tampa Bay, you'll win more games.
Ooh, okay, listen, there were three words that Bruce Arians used earlier today: continuity, confidence, and confusion. Now, we already know we have the confidence. If there's time left on the clock, you give it to Patrick Mahomes, he's going to hit a game winner, right? I am confused because that's what we thought we could expect from Tom Brady, but we really have not seen that consistently this season. Thank you, guys. We'll check in a little later. Time now for the Gold Jacket semifinalists presented by Ford. Earlier today, the list of potential Hall of Fame enshrinees got a little smaller. Here's a 2021 Gold Jacket semifinalist. I mean, another absolutely incredible list of legends. A few guys standing out there: Jared Allen, of course, John Lynch, Peyton Manning on the list as well. And the list continues. We got Clay Matthews, Charles Woodson, and Bryant Young. Jared Allen actually reacted to the news a little earlier today. Take a listen.
I was cracking up. As soon as I saw it, I was pointing. It was actually, and I was laughing more because I knew the sack would get credited to me. Because Kevin and I had, I think it was a previous game or something. But anyways, Kevin and I were racing to the sideline, running a quarterback out of the sideline one day, and he dove and he was closer and he got credit for the sack. And I was like, that's BS. So that's why I was cracking up too. I'm like, this dude literally just ran out of the back of the end zone, giving a safety and a sack. And I think Kevin was up on me in the year by like 3 or 4 at the time, and so I picked up a cheap one. And yeah, it was all fun and games, but that's still one that everybody laughs about. Orlovsky. Every time I see him or talk to him, he brings it up. And, yeah, I've never seen it before. I like hitting people, so I wish he would have stood there, at least just, lay down, let me hit him at least.
I love that he's talking about sacks, but he's sitting there nice and cozy with his sweater. Congratulations to all the semifinalists. All right, here's the hard truth in Baltimore. Don't worry, it's a tough city. They can take it. No one cares, though, that you're exciting if you're not efficient. And no one cares that you outgain the Steelers if you don't outscore the Steelers. And that's exactly what happened in Week 8. Coming up next, what happens An absolute must-watch there. All right, but on Thursday, we've got 3 good ones on Thanksgiving. Texans at Lions to start you off. Washington at Cowboys, the entree there. And, of course, your nightcap Ravens at Steelers. And we've got you covered starting with Good Morning Football right here on NFL Network. It's a full day lineup. GMFB followed by Game Day Morning, and then 3 scoops of total access to get you through all the way up to after Ravens and Steelers. Ravens looking for some revenge here. Let's take it back to Week 8 with a highlight rewind. Steelers at Ravens. Remember, this was the first meeting between Ben Roethlisberger and Lamar Jackson. So fourth quarter, Steelers were trailing by 3 first and goal. Big Ben to Chase Claypool for the 8-yard touchdown. By the way, Claypool has scored at least 1 touchdown against AFC North rivals this season. So let's fast forward. 5 seconds left in the game now. Ravens trail by 4. 2nd and 10. Lamar Jackson fires one to Willie Snead. Nope. Broken up by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Bye-bye. Steelers, of course, win at 28-24. Lamar had 4 turnovers in this game. So here's a look at the AFC playoff pictures. Ravens in a must-win situation right now. They're sitting outside the playoffs as it stands today. Let's open up the playbook on this one. Who better than our Super Bowl winning coach, Brian Billick, who knows a thing or two, by the way, about coaching in this rivalry, of course. Coach Lamar Jackson is as dynamic as they come, no doubt. But how will the Steelers defend Lamar Thursday night?
Yeah, well, to say Lamar Jackson has struggled with the Steelers is an understatement, not only because of the great talent, but schematically, there seems to be times when he's confused about what he's seeing. He's had 5 interceptions in the 2 substantive games that he's played against them. And you can look at the film and see what the Steelers are doing. And it's Pat and Pittsburgh Steelers. This is just a basic 4-man front, right? But they're going to change it up. They're going to take Williams and walk him up. Obviously, he's going to come. And they're going to drop Dupree out the backside. All right, so in doing this, now it's still just a 4-man rush. You can see Lamar Jackson, he wants to go to that side, but he sees Dupree has dropped off. So that takes him away. Well, I'll just drop it off to the weak side. What he hasn't accounted for was the inside linebacker, Spillane, who has jumped into that vacated zone that Williams had when he stepped up into the rush. Ends up being a pick 6 in the opening series of the game. Now, they're going to take Dupree, put him outside of J.J. Watt, and they're going to drop Highsmith off the other side. So now you drop J.J. Watt. Look at Lamar Jackson. It's like he doesn't recognize the guy's going to drop his feet. He's backpedaling. He wasn't under pressure, and it was a very poor throw. They're going to do the same thing here in the same situation, 4-man rush. This time they're going to bring Dupree on the inside. Now, they end up one-on-one, and, of course, Watt goes to the outside. They end up with Edwards on Dupree. This is just not going to be good, and it ends up with the strip, sack, fumble. So in critical situations, it's the classic Pittsburgh Steelers. They bring a variety of pressures. They only have to do it with a 4-man rush, and it's yielding some real confusion for Lamar Jackson. He's got to be able to sit in the pocket, recognize that a lot of these zones, there's going to be someone to go to, but he has to recognize where the moving pieces go to. Again, it's classic Pittsburgh Steeler defense, and they're doing it with as a talented a group of defense that we've seen in a while in Pittsburgh. So that's going to be the challenge clearly on Thursday night.
And, Coach, as the theme here, as you're going through all of these different plays here, especially when you're going up an undefeated team like the Steelers, is making sure you account for everything, recognizing there's definitely a lack of that there from Lamar. Coach, thank you, as always. Here's what the rest of the Steelers schedule looks like, though. Week 12, of course, Ravens. Then they've got Washington. Then they visit the Bills on Sunday Night Football, at Bengals for Monday night. Then they have the Colts. And finally, they visit the Browns. MJD, come on in here, because you saw how Coach was breaking down how to defend Lamar Jackson. Let's run through the remainder of the Steelers schedule here, because I want to know if you have them finishing undefeated.
Well, MJ, look, I want all the Pittsburgh Steelers fans out there to watch this, because as much hate as I've been getting, it's been crazy. So here we go. Starting off with the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be a W. Baltimore right now, they have a lot of guys on the COVID list. J.K. Dobbins, Mark Ingram. They're just missing a lot of guys, some staffers. I just think it's on the short week. That's going to be tough, especially with the facility closed. Let's go to the Washington football team. Alex Smith and company, they're doing some good things. But against that defense, I just don't know. And the way Big Ben is slinging the ball around, going empty, I say that's another W there.
That should be a dub.
No question. Now, the Buffalo Bills, this is going to be a tough one. And I believe in Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, what they're able to do and the way that defense flies around. Going to Buffalo is going to be tough. The last time they did it, they had Le'Veon Bell as a snow game. He ran for 30 carries, a bunch of yards. I don't know if they can do that, but I believe in that Pittsburgh Steelers defense like Coach Billick talked about and how they're able to affect the game. I think Pittsburgh wins that one.
Wow.
Next, the Cincinnati Bengals. You just go ahead and put a W up there. Right now we're running with a backup quarterback.
It's rough.
Times are rough. This is going to be the Bills and the Colts are going to be two games that they're going to have to really put their best foot forward. Now, and I believe the Colts and that defense and what they're able to do playing cover two. I want to see how Big Ben does it. And can Phillip Rivers really do well? And the reason I'm going to give the Pittsburgh Steelers the edge here is because they have the #1 defense. They find ways to get sacks, turnovers. Minkah Fitzpatrick has been lights out. The way he was a ball hawk against the Jaguars was huge. And then, listen, we already saw what Pittsburgh did to Baker Mayfield and company in Pittsburgh. I don't care if you have Nick Chubb or not. Baker Mayfield can't beat the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. So as all the Steeler fans in Pittsburgh and throughout the country and throughout the world, you see